Thank you, everybody, for being here. Thank you for being here. Good morning, everybody. Parks are power. Parks are key.
Yep.
Striving, thriving, and strong, NYC. Parks are power.
Parks are power.
Parks are key.
Parks are key.
Thriving and strong.
Thriving and strong.
NYC.
NYC.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
My name is Daniel Abram. I'm the Director of Policy at New Yorkers for Parks. Thank you all for showing up today, even in this frigid weather, because this moment is too important to ignore. Parks are essential to health and well-being of every New Yorker. They are where we gather, where we play, where we breathe. Parks make our city livable. They create community. They build resilience. And they drive economic growth. Yet, for 2 years, the Parks Department has faced targeted staffing cuts and hiring freezes, much like today. And the impact is clear. Unsafe conditions, neglected spaces, and workers stretched too thin to meet the needs of the communities they serve. This isn't just about green spaces. This is about people. This is about equity. This is about public safety. It's about creating a city where every neighborhood, no matter the borough, has resources and access to parks that it deserves. And it's about refusing to accept disinvestment in something so vital to our city's future. When we fight for parks, we're fighting for people. For cleaner air, safer spaces, stronger communities, for the health of our children and the resilience of our neighborhoods. It's a fully funded park system isn't a luxury. It's a lifeline and it's a necessity. Today, we're sending a message. New Yorkers value our parks and we demand better. Better funding, better staffing, better care for the spaces that care for us. Let's make sure our leaders hear us today, loud and clear. Our parks deserve nothing less. Parks are power.
Parks are power.
Parks are key.
Parks are key.
Parks are strong.
Parks are strong.
Thriving NYC.
Thriving NYC.
Thank you so much. I'm going to pass it over to Councilmember Brewer.
Thank you very much. I want to say a couple of things. First of all, thank you everyone for being here. Nothing is more important than New York. Number one, do not talk to me about equity unless you fully fund the park. That's number one. Number two, I want to give credit to the park staff because they are the ones who reach out. Other agencies, they never call us, we never hear from them, but Park says, what kind of parks do you want? And they actually tell us what kind of money they want. And we like that. That's what is collaboration, but we need the money. $95 million for 1,000 positions. Let me give you an example of how few horticulturists we have. Riverside Park goes from 59th to 168th. They have 7 horticulturists. That's it. Everything else is private donations if they can, or volunteers. Outside of a playground, you'll see 150 strollers. That means that we need more money for the parks. We need it now, and we need it because people are not necessarily going away. They want to go to our parks.
Right.
So I want to.
We love parks.
We love parks. I want to thank people for being here today. I want people to understand, do not ever talk to me about equity unless you fully fund the parks.
I'm going to ask Alexis to come here. I'm so excited because I got a constituent here. It's so hard to have someone come all the way from Rockaway. And we don't have the A train. Amen. So when we talk about we fighting on all fronts for the 31st district. So good morning, everyone. It is such an honor to be with you on the steps of City Hall today as we rally for the resources for our parks that they so desperately need and deserve. As a chair of the Council's Committee on Transportation and Infrastructure and a proud representative of Southeast Queens, I know firsthand how critical our parks are to the well-being of our communities. Parks are not just open spaces. They are safe havens for families, gathering places for friends, and essential resources for recreation and wellness.
Yes.
In Council District 31, we have worked hard to secure funding for Brookville Park and Sunrise Playground, Springfield Park, and so many other parks in my district. These parks are vital to ensuring our parks meet the needs of our residents. But across the city, our park workers face insurmountable challenges due to insufficient resources.
And that ain't right. That ain't right.
That ain't right. And the results are clear. Unclean parks, closed restrooms, and neglected natural areas. The city's preliminary budget leaves New York City parks in crisis, with 1,000 fewer staff than in past years and critical programs at risk. This is unacceptable. We are here today to call on the administration to restore the $94.6 million needed to support our parks, including $20.5 million for safety, programming, and wildlife management, $14.5 million to ensure heavily used parks receive proper care, and $36.2 million to maintain our natural areas and advance the New York City Urban Forest Plan. Investing in our parks is an investment in our neighborhoods, our families, and our city's future. It is time for this administration to make good on its promises to prioritize equity and sustainability, especially in communities like Southeast Queens, where access to safe and clean parks can make all the difference. So I stand with my colleagues, advocates, and community members to demand that our parks be fully funded. Let's ensure every child has a playground they can enjoy. Every family has green spaces they can gather in.
Yes,
And every New Yorker has access to the benefits that our parks provide. Together we can build a cleaner, greener, and safer city for all.
Amen.
Good morning. I'm Councilmember Mercedes Narcisse, representing the 46th District, the south side of Brooklyn. I heard someone said, I think it was you, about health. As a chair for a hospital committee and a registered nurse for many decades, I know that parks play a key, essential part of our lives. And we realize that, I knew that, but most of us realized it during COVID, the height of the pandemic, when folks in my houses, and they have no way to go. So where they had to go? In parks. To spend their time, their birthday. I used to celebrate the birthday, the wedding, everything in the parks. Parks is part of our lives. Without parks, I don't know what we'll do. This is our environmental, in the time that we said we are very challenged with our environment. Global warming is real. So in my district, we are fortunate to have incredible green spaces like Marine Park, the largest park in Brooklyn, Canarsie Park, among others. These parks are vital to our communities and should be maintained to the highest standard. I am fully committed to advocating for the staffing needed to keep our parks clean and safe. But I also want to remind everyone that we all share the responsibility of caring for these spaces. No matter how many staff we have, and we must do our part to keep our parks clean and free of litter. I do it. I go around and tell people, pick it up. Pick it up, pick it up, pick it up. So they look at me all like, I say, yeah, pick it up. Because if I do that in your living room, you're not going to like it. So the park workers need help to maintain it. But while we're saying that, we must invest in the workers, making sure that they are part of our society, that we're responsible. Rent is too damn high. So they need to pay their rent. They need to pay for their families. So we have to take them as they are, the front line, just like everybody else serving the city of New York. Let's do our part. Let's make sure that we fund our parks. And we cannot forget that they are essential workers too. So thank you. God bless you. And invest in our
Thank you. I'm Councilman Justin Brannan, chair of the council's finance committee, we should not be here today. With a budget that is going to be north of $115 billion, with the parks are the lungs of our city, but City Hall is choking us. Back in November, when some of our parks were literally burning to the ground, and the administration had a chance to give us a couple more dimes and nickels for the Parks Department, they gave us nothing. Nothing. You talk about years and years of disinvestment, cavalier disinvestment in our parks that adds up and adds up and adds up. We should not be celebrating that we got the grass cut in the park. That's not enough. With a $115 billion budget, these parks should be fully funded. We should be hiring more workers so that they can take care of these parks. So many of these workers love their jobs. That's right. They take such great pride in their jobs. They're not just guys that are doing maintenance in the parks. They talk to people. Right, that's right. I said guys, right. Men and women, the workers, they talk to people. These are people that people in the community know these people. They get to know their families. Yep. Our parks are the great equalizer. Our city needs to do better. It's a shame that we have to fight so damn hard every year just to get a couple of bucks for our parks. Right. But I'm telling you now, as we head into the FY26 budget negotiations, this city council is making parks funding one of our top priorities. We're going to fight like hell to get this done because it's the right thing to do. Thank you very much.
Good morning, everyone. Buenos dias. Buenos dias. All right. I am Councilmember Alexa Aviles, representing District 38 in Brooklyn, and I represent one of the most amazing parks, although New York City has so many treasures all over all the boroughs. So as chair of the Immigration Committee and as a representative of a community that is so diverse, it is the one place in our parks where you see all people come together. Right. It is the one place where we breathe, where we love, where we relax, where we reflect, where families come together to do and be healthy and dignified. And so I stand here absolutely committed, and I want to remind you all, the cuts to parks over the last 3 years in this administration were unnecessary. Yeah. Right. And don't get gaslit. Oh, I'm going to give you now back the things that I cut. Because that's what's been happening here. Unnecessary cuts to our parks, unnecessary cuts to our workforce, and awful conditions that are not being addressed. This could be addressed, must be addressed by this administration. Parks are critical. Parks, if you invest in parks, you actually invest in public safety.
That's right.
Okay? Yep. We gotta say that again. If you invest in parks, you invest in public safety.
Amen.
Not false solutions and overtime that leads us nowhere.
Amen.
Right.
So we stand here in solidarity, and I gotta say, my sister is a parkie, and she is proud of the work she does, and she works so hard. With sometimes equipment that is not even working very well. But workers on a daily basis make the best to make sure that they do the best by New Yorkers. We need to give them adequate pay. We need to make sure they have the equipment. We need a capital budget that actually sustains. And then last thing I will say is parks is a public good. It is not the role of private entities to subsidize our park. They could contribute, but this is a public good that we should be fully invested in with no questions asked, because we understand when we invest in the public good, we invest in the people. People over profits. Let's fully fund these parks. Thank you so much.
Well, good morning, everybody. I'm Council Member Shauna Bray. I'm the chair of the Sanitation Committee. And I got to tell you, keeping our parks clean is a big priority for our committee and also for the Parks Committee as well. Everyone has said what's been said already, but let me repeat some of it. Our parks are more than just green spaces. They are the heart and soul of our neighborhoods. Yes. They are our backyard. Yes. I know I have representatives here from Riverside Park, Maryland. I gotta tell you, I grew up going to Riverside Park as a kid in Washington Heights. And it's a place where you can see young families get raised. It's a place where people can go and sort of just enjoy peace and mindfulness and really promote our better health. And so I'm gonna do everything that I can. This council is gonna do everything that they can to secure 1% for parks. We need to play fair, and the time to do that is right now. Thank you, everybody.
Good morning, everybody. Eric Botcher here, council member for District 3 on the west side of Manhattan. Breaking news, newsflash, New York City is not the easiest place to live in on the planet, okay? You gotta be a little tough to live here. We gotta have some grit to live here. We don't live here because of the great weather. We don't live here because of the spacious apartments, but because it's New York City, it's the best city on the planet, am I right? But one reason why we can live here is because of our parks. Parks and green space fill a basic human necessity. We as human beings, we need our green space, we need our parks. That's why we can live in New York City. Yet, here we are at the beginning of the budget cycle, once again, demanding just 1% of the city budget for our parks. I am so proud to, last year, we passed my legislation requiring an urban forest master plan for New York City, which will require the city to plan for 30% tree canopy coverage across New York City by the year 2035. That report, that plan, which should be coming out soon, is going to require resources. Otherwise, it'll just be another plan collecting dust on a shelf. That is going to be essential for us to achieve that tree canopy coverage in the coming years to deal with the effects of climate change as we seek to cool our neighborhoods, as we seek to absorb rainwater, absorb flash floods. It's more than just a luxury, as nice as it is, as nice as tree coverage is. It's critical to the future of our city. So here we are today, calling on Mayor Adams and the administration not to play games during the budget process, not to play the budget dance with parks funding. 1% for parks, at least, of the city budget going forward, and we want much more.
Yes! Give us that one! Give us that one!
Good morning, everyone. My name is Assemblymember Harvey Epstein. And I came back from Albany yesterday because I wanted to be here because I thought this is so important for our community. So our state budget's over $250 billion. City budget, we're talking about $115 billion, right? I chair the Committee on State and Local Relations, and we talk all the time about how New York is such a vital part of our city, of our state. But what are we doing here?
Right.
Parks are after-school programs. Parks are daycare centers. Parks are community centers for our neighbors. What we're doing is ensuring that our parks continue to deteriorate. That means New York continues to deteriorate. It means there aren't safe spaces for our families to go. There aren't opportunities for families to have green space and open space. In a city where we don't have enough open space, if we allow our parks not to thrive, we allow our New Yorkers not to thrive. It is critical that the council, and I will be here supporting the council to ensure we get this funding. We can't allow further cuts. What we need is a real enhancement, not just the cuts from the last 3 years ago, but real enhancement, inflationary costs for our parks, to make sure we have maintenance workers, to make sure that we have people who are actually planting flowers, that we can't just rely on our volunteer base, that we have bathrooms that are not just clean, but they're rehab with real capital dollars.
Money talks.
This is about the future of New York, and it's driven by our open space and our public space. Parks are a critical aspect to it. I'm here to support you all. Let's get it done this year in the budget.
hear it from my assembly member on the FC. I'm City Council Member Keith Powers, representing the east side of Manhattan, which is home to some of the greatest parks in the entire world. But you don't have to represent Central Park. Every single person has a park in their neighborhood, their community, that they don't, not only do they love, but they rely on. And as the assembly member said, it is the place we go to get our open space and our fitness and our fresh air. It's a place we use for childcare and after school. It's a place we get away from the madness of the city and the world that we live in. It's the places that are beautiful in our neighborhoods that we want invested in. But every single year, we have to come out here and do this dance. It's not just with parks, but parks is a big part of it. So what we're saying this year is the dance is over. We like to dance. We're New Yorkers. But the dance is over, and we want a guarantee and a mandate that our parks are going to get the love that they deserve. And what does that mean? That means when you walk in a park, it's modern, it's updated, it's beautiful. That the workers that are in there are workers in there, by the way. You gotta support our workers. And that we have clean bathrooms. And that the spaces that are supposed to be the beautiful spaces we're showing off to the world. The reason we might leave our neighborhood and go to someone else's neighborhood. The reasons, the way places we want to go when we visit the city, the crown jewel parks, that they actually feel like places you want to be. They feel modern, they feel invested, they have the love and the care. So we're going to start talking about how the dance is over. That's something I said, the dance is over. We need a mandate, and we need a guarantee in every budget, not just this year, but the years in the future, that our parks are going to be treated like other things in this city. There is a guarantee that we are going to love and care for them every single year. And I want to say a couple things. First of all, you guys are out here freezing your asses off today. Because you're not here in the freezing cold because you want to be here. Number two, let's hear it for our parks workers. Because those are like the unsung heroes. And also in some of the parks in my neighborhood, we have volunteers. We have people starting conservancies. We have people fighting for funding and bringing things. Let's hear it for them. But we're here for all the New Yorkers who couldn't be here today. So we just want to know when they bring their kids to the park and when they show up at the place, it's going to be a great place to be. Is that all right? All right, so listen. This is a cold day at the beginning of the budget cycle. There's going to be warmer days, I can promise you that. But you can't just be here today. We got to keep going. You got to call your council member. If you live on the east side of your council. If you got to call your council member, you got to activate them, because it's not just about saying we're for it. It's about prioritizing this in the budget so that this side of the City Hall and that side of City Hall are shaking a hand in that rotunda in June. And we're going to say we did our job for parks. So can you guys do that? I'll see you guys there. Let's make sure we do what every New Yorker wants us to do, invest in our parks.
New York City has the money.
Good morning. Thank you, everyone, for being here. My name is Crystal Hudson. I represent a district in Brooklyn. I support investing in our parks. This is proudly a sanctuary city, and so many of our parks are sanctuary spaces for so many people at every time, all times. And so we need to make sure that we continue to invest in our parks, but that we're doing more and investing more so that our parks can remain the sanctuary places they are for all New Yorkers. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thanks everyone for being here. My name is Alia Sumro. I'm the Deputy Director for New York City Policy at the New York League of Conservation Voters.
Let's hear it for her.
Thank you all for coming throughout the city on this really cold day. We all know that parks foster livable and resilient communities. They create union jobs, promote quality of life, and mitigate the climate crisis by offering shade during extreme heat events, and they absorb stormwater during extreme rainfall events. Last year, we were again reminded not only of the devastating impacts of climate change when we witnessed the city's drought, but we saw wildfires in so many city parks. Despite the fact that our mayor committed to funding our park system at 1% of the city budget, Parks was the only agency that did not receive a full budget restoration. That's really outstanding. NYLCV stands with New Yorkers for Parks, DC 37, all the advocates and council members and elected officials here today, and the volunteers that aren't here today who couldn't make it. We demand that Parks get its full budget restored and more, because we need to foster livable and sustainable communities. Thanks for coming.
Hello, good afternoon. I am Morgan Monaco, the president of the Prospect Park Alliance. I am also proud to serve as the co-chair of the Parks and Open Spaces Partners Coalition, a citywide network of more than 50 nonprofit organizations dedicated to stewarding and programming New York City's green and open spaces. Together, we share a common vision of an equitable and resilient park system for all. The urgent need to invest in our parks and public spaces cannot be overstated, especially in the face of climate change. In my first 2 years at the Alliance, I have seen the worst flood that the park has ever experienced in decades. And then last November, we experienced a 2-acre fire that devastated our core woodlands in the ravine. Both of these disasters highlight the vulnerability of our city's treasured green spaces. Parks, as you've heard from everybody here before me, play a crucial role in building climate resilience, yet they continue to be underfunded year after year. During the pandemic, our parks served as lifelines for New Yorkers, providing safe spaces for socializing, exercising, and just feeling human connection. Today, their importance has only grown. They are essential hubs for recreation, celebration, and community building, which is needed now more than ever. Despite these efforts, the Parks Department continues to operate under an austerity budget, creating significant challenges to maintaining and improving our city's parks. Insufficient funding limits our ability to implement essential initiatives that enhance park infrastructure, improve accessibility, and advance environmental sustainability. For over 40 years, parks conservancies, friends of groups, and other open space organizations have worked alongside NYC Parks to steward many of the city's green spaces. However, most of our organizations rely 100% on the city for trash management and facilities maintenance, underlying the need for adequate and stable public funding to ensure our parks thrive. Underfunding our parks not only threatens the health and vitality of our green spaces, but also endangers the livelihoods of hundreds of workers who you see behind me. Parks are more than recreational areas. They are vital infrastructure that support health, well-being, and resilience of our communities. It's time to invest in our parks and the people who sustain them. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Mrs. Alexis Smallwood-Foote, and I am proud to stand here with the Play Fair for Parks Coalition to fight for the future of city's parks. Yes! Today we are united in our call for $95 million in investment to restore New York City's parks workforce and infrastructure. As someone who grew up in this city, I grew up in NYCHA where there was a park attached to NYCHA, Abraham Lincoln projects, Drew Hamilton. I live in Far Rockaway where Redfern, Hamels has a park. I was able to be a park mommy in Far Rockaway. When I moved to Far Rockaway, I was literally an outcast, and parks helped me meet mommies that thought like me and wanted to bring peace and tranquility to kids in Far Rockaway. Yeah. I know firsthand the importance of these spaces, whether it's a family gathering at Morningside Park, St. Nicholas Park, kids learning how to swim, or community cleanup. Parks are the heart of our neighborhoods and our communities. Today, to address public safety and accessibility, $10.7 million will fund swim safety education and add 103 seasonal positions to increase access to pools and beaches citywide. This is why funding for initiatives like Safe Parks, Clean Parks, and the Parks Equity Initiative is essential. We propose $9 million to expand recreation programs. St. Mary's, we owe you money, baby! St. Mary's, we outside for you, St. Mary's. Train green thumb volunteers, because if it wasn't for parks and partnership for parks, I would have been able to start the garden by the bay and organize my community and support partnership for park staff. They empower people like me, who was a single mother, and people look down on me, and they gave me an opportunity to show my power. Okay, we propose, okay, so we got that right? Okay, empower local communities to care for and utilize these spaces. $6 million will strengthen equity-focused programs supporting underserved neighborhoods like mine in Far Rockaway, where the mayor has ignored in the city. No more. Underserved neighborhoods, and funding would improve. The goal is this fund would improve safety, cleanliness. The bathrooms need cleanliness. They need workers to clean the bathroom. Soap, paper towels, they need supplies. Okay? I used to be a parks worker during Hurricane Sandy. Parks gives you opportunity to get your driver's license and your CDL. Parks is just more to us than just a job. It gives us opportunities and skills, right? Amen. And address critical issues like climate, resiliency, and public safety. Now is the time to act, Mayor Adams and the City Council. We urge you to invest in our parks and our people. To everyone here today, let's raise our voices, share our stories, and make it clear. A cleaner, safer, more equitable city starts with fully funded parks. Thank you for standing with us. Together, we can ensure parks remains a place of hope, safety, and joy for all New Yorkers, no matter what your income level is. Let's play fair for parks and these kids.
Good morning. Great to see everyone. Thank you to New Yorkers for Parks and the Play Fair for Coalition for organizing this event today. My name is Emily Walker. I'm the Senior Manager of External Affairs at the Natural Areas Conservancy. I'm here to talk about the role that our parks play in climate resiliency, and specifically our natural areas. We know now, as of this week, that change is not coming from the federal government when it comes to climate change. Our leaders in New York City must take action. Investing in our parks is investing in our climate and protecting our communities, and specifically investing in our natural areas is a way to do that. I want to take a moment to highlight our natural areas. They represent a third of our park system. 12,000 acres of New York City land is wetlands, marshlands, forested natural areas. We lost 80% of our staff in the FY25 budget to care for these spaces. Our forests have 5 million of New York City's 7 million trees. We have a bare bones staff to care for them. They absorb 70% of the city's carbon. Our natural areas absorb 22% of our city's stormwater. That's 11% of the land. Again, we lost the majority of our staff to care for these spaces. We are deeply disappointed that the funds for these staff were not included in the FY26 preliminary budget. And we are asking Mayor Adams and the City Council to work to ensure that $5 million is restored in this year's budget to support 75 people. That's all we're asking for. These folks take care of our forests. They maintain our 300-mile network of nature trails, which opens up access to millions of New Yorkers to find wonder and respite in our natural areas, which are some of our most prized spaces in the city. We want to ensure that these staff lines are restored and made permanent. We are tired of asking year after year for these investments. And we thank our hardworking staff, especially in the Natural Resources Group. They are moving mountains with very little resources, and they deserve to have a spotlight shined on the work that they do. I just want to round up my comments by saying that the Natural Areas Conservancy supports the Play Fair Coalition's ask for $95 million to support our parks. Thank you all for being here. I know it's freezing.
Hi, I'm Heather Luba. I'm Executive Director of City Parks Foundation. I will just echo what Alexis said. I don't have to say anything else. That was awesome. I am here talking about Partnerships for Parks, which is a public-private partnership. And the Parks Department, we we are not a substitute for adequate funding for maintenance for our parks. That is very important. Last year, we reached 32,000 volunteers. That's 7,000 volunteers more than we have ever worked with before. Our staff is exhausted. Those people should be programming and enjoying themselves in parks, not cleaning parks. That's very important.
Partnership of parks.
We are here to ask for an increase to support partnerships for parks through the administration, as well as to thank the City Council for the Parks Equity Initiative, which has kept us going these last 10 years and supports programming in parks throughout the city so that everyday New Yorkers can activate their parks, keep them safe, keep them clean, keep them fun. Thank you.
Let's go, Adam! Let's go, Adam!
Hi, everybody. My name is Adam Ganser. I'm the Executive Director of New Yorkers for Parks. We lead the Playfair Coalition. And I'm very grateful for everybody coming out today on a cold day. I grew up in Wisconsin, so this is sort of like on a medium, but I understand it's a cold day. I'm also sick and tired, and I mean that literally. I've been sick for 4 days. But I'm also sick and tired of the budget dance. Don't listen to what the mayor or OMB has said. The Parks Department has not been restored. There are critical programs that are not funded. There are staffing lines that are going to expire at the end of the year. As we've heard before, the Natural Areas team has been completely annihilated over the last year. This is going to be going on for 2 or 3 years, despite commitments from this mayor to fully fund the Parks Department at a level that we hadn't seen in decades. He's running out of time, and we're running out of time. I want to see this mayor, this administration live up to its commitments by June. We have the City Council coming up strong against or debunking the narrative around the preliminary budget. We're going to stay on top of this. But I want to point out just a couple of things, because the truth is you could point to every single part of the Parks Department and say they need more. I'm just going to talk about a couple that are speaking to Mayor Adams' language. Safety and security. Right now, the agency has 260 PEP officers to cover 30,000 acres of parks. These PEP officers are able to cover just 9% of the city's parks at 30 minutes a day. That is not providing guidance, that is not providing safety. The second thing is urban rangers. These are a beloved part of the park system. They've been around for decades. There are 50 of them, just 50. And they are funded on one-shot positions every year. Towards the end of the year, worried about losing their jobs and whether they're going to be coming back. This is not the way to fund and sustain an agency. Again, we could talk about bathrooms, we could talk about fields, we could talk about natural areas. All those things are equally, if not more important, but we need to target the message around each of these disinvestments and how it impacts New Yorkers, their ability to comfortably live here, to have a quality of life, and to be safe with their family in our city's parks. And so we're going to try a little bit of a different chant here, and it's about Parks Power. So I'm going to ask whose power? Everybody's going to say Parks Power. All right. I'll start it soft for you. No, whose power?
Parks Power.
Whose power?
Parks Power.
Whose power?
Parks Power.
Let's hear it for the Playfair Coalition.